Hey guys, welcome again to, we call it this Sonic Coffee Talks.
Sonic Coffee Talks, Sonic Inspection Podcast, whatever we
have. Today we're going to be talking about the different types of maintenance that you can have in a facility, really from reactive maintenance, proactive maintenance, and then predictive maintenance. I want to bring up, before we start into the types of maintenance, a article written by Jeff Merwin. He wrote that building owners and facility managers typically expect fire sprinkler systems to last 40 to 50 years. I bet you some of you are laughing because you're saying there's no way.
Right.
Because corrosion issues cause a statistical dropping of that to 15 to 25 years for wet systems and 8 to 12 years for dry systems. Yes. And so there's always this type of maintenance. There's a lot of maintenance that comes along with that. And that's what we wanted to talk about today is 3 types of maintenance that are being done. Peter, can you kick it off with reactive maintenance?
Well, so we all want our building to last that 40, 50 years, right? Like, I don't own a building personally, I'm just a guy at the company, but like every person that runs a building, works in a building, lives in a building, wants that system to last 40, 50 years. Usually it lasts far less than that. Yeah. And that's because a lot of us are stuck doing reactive maintenance, which is basically when it breaks, I'll fix it. We know it's not effective, but it's what we've always done, so we just keep doing. And we have the ability to go further.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's when it break it, fix it, but then when it finally gets bad enough, I replace the whole system.
Right.
And that's what's kind of been offered today. It's the only thing that's been offered today with FireCon.
There's not a lot else on the table.
Not less offered.
And it's not that they're being lazy. It's that up until this point, there's been very little availability of technology to take us to the next step.
Yeah. So that leads us to the next one.
Yeah. So proactive maintenance is more, it's the next step forward and what we all want to do and strive to do in our buildings. It's basically the idea of, I know this thing is gonna go bad, so I'm gonna get ahead of that and look for metrics that help me define its lifespan and where it is in that lifespan. If I know it tends to last about 15 to 25 years, I'm looking at that time frame. I'm also looking at maybe how much money I spent or how many times I've had to replace it or how many false trips I've had. Any of those type of metrics that help you understand what stage of its life cycle it's in right now.
Well, and I would say like a lot of people we've worked with say, hey, if we have a budget of 50 for fixing this system or each system and we know it just keeps failing, and once we hit that budget threshold, it's okay, we're gonna replace the whole thing.
Right.
So it's kind of leans back into reactive maintenance. It's like, crap, it's bad enough. All right, we're going to react and just replace the whole thing because we don't want to have downtime. We don't want to deal with the disruptions. We don't want to interfere with patient care if you're in hospitals. It goes on and on.
Right.
And so what we realize is those are the 2 main offerings right now, and the best offerings out there until you get to this concept and this actual method of predictive maintenance.
Predictive maintenance.
And so predictive maintenance is the idea of getting ahead of the issues before they get ahead of you. And
it requires basically, in a nutshell, that you have some, not just metrics, because metrics are great, but you have to have data that helps you understand your specific system, because like the report that Jeff put together is essentially a national average of this is about how long these systems last. And that's great, but when you want to know for your system, you don't want to just replace it at 15 if it's going to last 25 or 50. So what you need is data about your system that enables you to predict what's going to happen and how to head it off.
Well, I mean, it even gets into, okay, if you're going to just replace your system at 15 or 20 years, you're going to pay 2 times what it should have lasted. So if your system costs $50,000 and you're replacing it at 15 years and it should be lasting you 30 years or 50 years, you're going to be paying that again and almost again, 2.5 times almost what your initial cost would be if we just maintain these things with life cycle asset management.
Yeah, and that's the key phrase, like lifecycle asset management. It's something that we talk about a lot at Sonic. If you've been on a phone call with us, you've heard us talk about it. And really what it is like this thing is an asset, first of all. We talked about that in our last video. And it has a lifespan, and it should be a 50-year lifespan. So how do we manage that and help it get as far as it can?
So the whole goal of this conversation was to introduce and educate about, 2 traditional methodologies, reactive and proactive maintenance, and introduce a new innovative dynamic methodology for maintenance, which is predictive maintenance. And
Right.
so we hope you guys find this educational. Start thinking about these things just even in your own time. And we're also going to link this article on our site, or at least tag Jeff Merwin. And so thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Bye.